Have you ever heard of a treasure so cursed that it literally burns anyone who dares to touch it? Today, we're diving deep into the dark woods of Germany, into the heart of the Black Forest, to uncover the chilling legend of the Fire Crown. This isn't just a story about gold and jewels. It's a tale of ancient kings, a terrible betrayal, and a curse that has endured for centuries. The story begins in the early Middle Ages, a time of myth and magic. The Black Forest, or Schwarzwald, as it's known in German, was a place of deep mystery, home to thick, impenetrable woods where sunlight barely touched the ground. It was ruled by a fearsome king, a warrior known as King Alaric the Stern. Alaric was a powerful ruler, respected by his allies and feared by his enemies. His most prized possession was a magnificent crown forged by master craftsmen from the purest gold and adorned with rubies so deep and red they were said to hold the very essence of fire. This was the Fire Crown. It wasn't just a symbol of his power. The legends say the crown itself held magical properties. But such a powerful object was bound to attract envy and greed, and the greatest threat came not from a foreign enemy, but from within Alaric's own court. His younger brother Lothar was consumed by jealousy. He watched as Alaric wore the crown, feeling the power and respect it commanded. Lothar believed the throne and the crown should have been his. The Sorceress, known only as Morwen, was a practitioner of forbidden arts. She agreed to help Lothar, but her price was high. In a dark ritual under a blood moon, she placed a terrible curse upon the Fire Crown. It would no longer be a symbol of protection, but an instrument of agony. She enchanted it so that any hand that touched it, other than one with Alaric's royal blood flowing through its veins, would feel an unbearable, searing heat, as if their flesh was being consumed by invisible flames. The curse was set. Lothar, believing himself to be of royal blood and therefore immune, crept into the king's chambers while he slept. He reached out and snatched the crown from its pedestal. The moment his fingers made contact, an agonizing scream tore through the castle. The curse didn't recognize his treacherous heart. It saw only the betrayal, not the bloodline. Lothar's hands were horribly burned, the flesh blackened and seared to the bone. He dropped the crown, his ambition turning to dust and ash, his body racked with unimaginable pain. King Alaric awoke to the chaos. He found his brother writhing on the floor, his hands destroyed, the crown glowing with a faint, malevolent red light. The truth of the betrayal was clear. Heartbroken and enraged, Alaric banished his brother and, in his despair over the corrupted treasure, he decided that no one should ever wield its cursed power again. He took the Fire Crown deep into the most secluded, inaccessible part of the Black Forest and hid it, hoping it would be lost to time forever. It became a ghost story, a cautionary tale for the greedy. The forest itself seemed to guard the crown. Many who entered the search were never seen again, swallowed by the dense, disorienting woods. Those who did return came back empty-handed, speaking of strange whispers on the wind, of feeling watched by unseen eyes, and of a sudden, inexplicable heat that would rise from the forest floor, forcing them to retreat. One of the most famous accounts comes from the 18th century, from a group of 3 adventurers led by a man named Klaus Richter. Richter was a seasoned explorer who had made a name for himself finding lost Roman artifacts. He was skeptical of magic and curses, believing the story of the Fire Crown was just a tall tale to scare off rivals. Armed with old maps and a healthy dose of overconfidence, he and his team set off. For weeks, they navigated the treacherous terrain. Their journals, which were later found abandoned at a campsite, describe a growing sense of dread. The air grew heavy, the forest unnaturally silent. One night, they reportedly found a hidden cave behind a waterfall, exactly where an ancient text had hinted the crown might be. Inside, on a moss-covered stone altar, sat a golden crown, glittering in their lantern light, studded with what looked like smouldering embers. It was the Fire Crown. For a moment, they were mesmerized by its beauty. But as Richter's companion, a young man named Finn, reached out, driven by impulse, the legend proved terrifyingly real. The moment his fingertips grazed the metal, he let out a blood-curdling shriek. His hand was instantly covered in blisters, the skin turning black as if it had been thrust into a blacksmith's forge. Panicked, the men fled the cave, leaving the crown behind. Finn barely survived, his hand permanently disfigured, a gruesome testament to the curse's power. After that incident, serious attempts to find the crown dwindled. The local people warned outsiders to stay away, insisting that the spirit of King Alaric and the magic of the Sorceress still guarded the treasure. They believe the crown isn't meant to be found, and that it carries a sorrow that infects the very land around it. So, where is the Fire Crown today? Does it still sit on that stone altar in a hidden cave, waiting for its next victim? Or has the forest reclaimed it completely, burying it under centuries of leaves and soil? Some modern paranormal investigators and historians have tried to pinpoint its location using technology like ground-penetrating radar and thermal imaging. But the Black Forest is vast, and its terrain makes such searches nearly impossible. The thermal imaging searches are particularly interesting. There have been unsubstantiated reports of anomalous heat signatures deep in the forest, spots that are inexplicably warmer than their surroundings, with no geological explanation. Could this be the faint, cursed heat of the crown, still radiating its dark energy after all these years? The story of the Fire Crown of the Black Forest is a powerful reminder that some treasures are better left buried. It's a tapestry woven from history, folklore, and a very human story of greed and betrayal. It's not just about a haunted object, but about the lingering emotional energy, the pain, the anger, the sorrow that can attach itself to a place or an item. What do you think? Is the fire crown real? Is there a cursed artifact glowing with malevolent heat somewhere in the German wilderness? Or is it just a fantastic story created to explain the dangers of a wild, untamed forest? The line between history and legend is often blurry, and in places like the Black Forest, it's almost impossible to see where one ends and the other begins. Maybe the real treasure isn't the gold or the rubies, but the thrilling, chilling mystery itself. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the heart of a dark legend. If you love stories about cursed treasures and historical mysteries, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next adventure. Let me know in the comments what haunted treasure we should investigate next. Until then, stay curious.